All right, guys. So today we're just going to be critiquing some photos that our real estate media company has went through. Now let's just jump right into it. This one for the exterior photos, you're going to want to raise your tripod, or if you have a drone, the ideal height for an exterior photo is going to be above your head. So if you're taking exterior photos on the ground with a tripod, you have to raise it up as high as possible. That's because we don't want to be angling up at the house. We don't want to be distorting any part of the house at all. We want to be looking straight at it. We want it to be geographically perfect. So as you can see, what I mean when I say geographically perfect is the home needs to be centered in the middle of the photo. Okay, so all the space at the top of the photo, you're going to see the space on the bottom of the photo. That should be symmetrical. The space on the side of the photo should be symmetrical to the other side of the photo, so that if you were to fold the photo in half, hamburger or hot dog, the house would be perfectly symmetrical. Okay, now let's jump into the rest of the homes. Same thing here. It is more of a stepped out further photo of the front photo that we were just looking at previously. I like to take 3 photos exterior. This is what we train all of our photographers on. One front photo from the right, and one front photo from the left. So this is the right front photo angle, and as you can see, the same rules apply here. So the same rules apply with having the house in the absolute middle of the photo. So if you were to completely fold this home as a hot dog or hamburger, the amount of room from the sky to the grass is perfectly symmetrical. Same thing from the right to the left. Okay, we're just going to refer to this as geographically symmetrical because it is. Now I'm sure the other photo is going to be the reverse of it, but let's double check. See a little bit more straight on. And again, as we see here, this one looks distorted because you're pointing up at the house. This isn't good. This is not a good photo. This photo sucks. And it's because it's being pointed up at the home. You want to raise your camera more so that you're pointing straight on at the home as opposed to angling up at the home. These are just filler photos. These photos are purposefully here to please the real estate agent. That's because the real estate agent at the appointment, I wasn't there, but I'm highly likely assuming the real estate agent was walking with the photographer, and it's more of a social thing that they're doing together where the agent's like, this is a very pretty walkthrough, which it is. Like if you're walking through the home and you have a pretty nice entrance like this and it's long driveway, there's something cool about it in reality. That real estate agent in their mind is going to say and communicate with the photographer, let's take a photo of this. Well, you as the photographer, you're probably thinking this photo is going to turn out horrible, which it did. They will never use this. But the purpose is to just take the photo regardless to make the real estate agent happy, to maintain the relationship so they want to call you and use you again. It's not so much about having the perfect photos. That's the delineation between some of the people that are very business smart inside of a program and the people that are really photography heavy. The business smart people will get more business because they make their clients love them. Whereas the photographer type photographers will argue with the agent and be like, yeah, I don't know, like it's just not going to be perfect. It doesn't matter. Just make him happy and take the photo. This is a cottage house, so the back of the home, or a cottage home. Again, the same fundamentals are going to apply here with exterior photos. Let's see here, patio photos. This is a big thing to note. So a lot of the times with the patio photo, you want to show the actual scope of the patio, how large it is and what's actually on the patio, but also show the utility of it. So as you can see here, there's water and a lake. So you're going to want to show not only this, but also point out towards the lake, but vice versa. So maybe there's nothing here, but the home is immaculate. So it's a beautiful home facing the house. Then you would face the camera that way towards the home and also face the camera towards out. So they have both photos to choose from. Again, you're not looking for the perfect image. You're looking for the best of all suits. So for here, there's a million different options that you can take to show the lake and show the patio, but you want to cover as much as possible. So show the utility of the patio and what the home actually offers in the first place. You have to look at these listings as if you are the agent. Like what parts of this home would you actually want to show to buyers and sellers? Because that's fundamentally what they're paying you for. Now this is kind of a cool photo, a walkway into the patio. This is something that would come with nuance. It'll come with experience. After being through a bunch of homes and you see walkways and entrances, it's important that you have an eye for the detail, the same detail that the homeowner has eyes for and that the real estate agent has eyes for. A lot of the times at our real estate media company, certain agents will suggest specific one of our photographers because they have specific eyes for stuff like this. I could tell it's our photographer, Jesse. I don't even know who took these photos, but I will bet my life that Jesse took these photos. It's because he has a very keen eye for detail and what the agent is looking for. That's why these agents love to work with Jesse. So moral of the story is look at the components of the home that the agent and the homeowner are actually looking for. And then they'll trust you to identify the same things, so that they're not like following you around the whole shoot. That's the worst part of like doing that stuff. Again, backward side angle photo, front on side angle photo. Again, the same exact fundamentals that I teach our photographers, we are implementing right here. You can see it in real time. Very symmetrical. Again, when you see shapes and when you see a big space, okay, I'll back up a little bit. When you see a big space like this, your mind is probably going, where should I stand? What sort of photo should I take? Should I angle it up? Should I angle it down? Should I side angle it? Where should I go? Show the whole space in symmetry. So as you can see here, it is symmetrical. It's a little lopsided. That comes with your editing. This should have been edited a little bit better. But as you can see here, it's symmetrical. So from top to bottom, you see the shape and it's pretty, right? We'll fly through the rest of these. These are pretty straightforward. There's a couple of fundamental rules when you are taking photos inside of the home. So we're only going to look at a couple of rooms here. That's because the same fundamental rules will apply. We call this the 2-wall rule. Wall 1 is right here and wall 2 is right here. Where these two walls intersect will be the absolute middle of the screen. That is what's going to keep it very symmetrical. Because think of it from this perspective. Say, for instance, all you saw was this whole wall. Then you would see a little bit of this wall, therefore the photo would not be symmetrical. This is how we show the symmetry of the room. Now, I like to dumb it down in this way because it's very easy to get foggied and not really know what you're even taking a photo of in the first place, because you're taking a photo of the whole room as opposed to an object in the room. And again here, the same sort of rule applies here, even though there's a lot going on. So this is wall 1 and this is wall 2. In the middle of the room, you're going to have the intersection of those two walls. This one isn't as clean, but the fundamental rules still apply when you feel lost inside of a house. Let's go to a very standard basic one. There's a lot of angle photos in this one. So as you can see, this room is longer. So there's going to be outliers inside of these fundamental rules that we set for ourselves. This room is longer, so this wall is going to be longer than this. But as you can see, it's not perfectly symmetrical. The fold is to the left of the room, right? So it's not as symmetrical as we want it to be. So that this stuff right here is all distorted, which isn't good. So what I would have done if I was taking this photo is I would have angled more towards this wall so that the symmetry and the distortion wasn't as big. Here we're taking photos with either a 14 or 12 millimeter lens. I would assume it is a 14 millimeter because if this was happening with a 12 millimeter, it would be crazy. That's why it probably blew past him while he was actually at the appointment. If you're using a 12 millimeter, you really want to focus on keeping everything symmetrical so that you're not distorting massive things in the room. 14 millimeter, pretty hard to screw up. You just go towards the fundamentals on every single house and it'll turn out pretty perfect every time if you have the right editor. We'll talk about the editing process in the next video. Here again, this is a very interesting one because, like, as you can see here, the wall back here, if you were to take the wall rule, you would assume that the walls meet probably right around like here, right? So pretty much in the middle of the room. But without getting too nitpicky, it doesn't really matter. The only thing that matters is that you're following these fundamental rules because the purpose of this is to show the whole room. So if you're staying symmetrical throughout the home, you're going to show the whole room. Let's see if we can find straight on photos. These are my favorite because any dumb could do this. It's the easiest thing of all time. You make sure that your tripod's level. So level up and down, and then also level from left and right. Because you could be level up and down, but you could also be slanted like this. Boom, a little bit sideways, and then the whole photo is gonna suck. As you can see here, the photo's a little bit slanted, so it feels a little bit distorted. Again, we're nitpicking this stuff so that we do have things to critique on so that, you know, we're striving for perfect photos, right? So in this specific situation, you can tell it slants a little bit to the right, which is fine. It just looks a little wonky. Let's see if there's any more straight-ons that'll give us an example of this. And here's another example of the 2-wall rule, but the one wall is wildly larger. So what I would have done here is stepped out to the side a little bit more and angled more towards this wall to almost show the whole room, to have this 2-wall rule be a little bit more, make a little bit more sense. Where the person standing in the room, the photographer standing in the room right here, it's almost like too far in. We want to stand on the complete perimeter of the room so that you could show the maximum amount of the room. This is where a lot of people get stuck, is because they take their artistic eye towards real estate photography. That's great, but this is more of like a utility that you're doing. You want to show the utility of the room, the space of the room, the size of the room, as opposed to like showing a focal point of something inside of the photos. You want to be showing how large the room is. So you should change your frame of mind around that. As you can see here, because the angle of the photo wasn't too good and it's a little bit wonky, things like this are going to be super distorted. Super picky homeowners will get pissed about that. So just keep that in the back of your mind when you guys are at appointments. This one is a great photo. This is great. This one's good because it's perfectly symmetrical. The ceiling and the floors are the same exact size. There's no left or right angling. There's no up and down angling. And again, guys, I'm being nitpicky. A lot of the times your editors could just put a geometric edit behind it to make it just perfectly level on every single plane. But in terms of like learning how to do the photos efficiently, this is what we're looking for. This is a great photo. This is a straight on photo. This one's taken a lot better. With a straight on photo, you can't just stand anywhere in the room. You need to be in the absolute middle of the room. So right here, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tiles, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 tiles. You're standing in the direct middle of the room where the direct middle of the dining table is. This is great. But if the dining room table was offsetted to the right and you were standing offsetted to the left, the photo would look horrible. You need to stand in the absolute middle of the room. All right, same thing with bedrooms. This is a great 2-wall photo of the bedroom. The window pulls here look pretty good. So the editing team did a really good job editing these photos. That means you can see outside of the windows and there's not a big blur. Sometimes there's massive blur around here. That's when you can identify that the window pulls look bad. That's why we take HDR photography, okay? And this will probably sum up, here, these window pulls are even better. But this probably sums up all of the problems that you guys have been seeing at appointments, trying to figure out what the right photos look like. And this might be in the camp that a lot of people are in, is like, I'm afraid to even go on my first shoot. That's the biggest thing, right? So when you're on your first shoot, guys, that's why I built out these entire shot lists. Like I have shot lists like this. I'll point towards this camera too. This shot list tells you literally exactly where to stand in every single room, okay? Now, what you guys can do is go on our Instagram at Rep Leadership and just comment shot list on any of our posts. You can download that, print it out, and bring it at your appointments. There's literally 0 errors whatsoever. But more importantly, we're going to follow the fundamental skills, which is be in like exterior, geographical middle. So the house needs to be in the middle. Don't angle up, don't angle down, don't angle left, don't angle right, angle straight at it. Then you're going to take one straight on exterior, one from the right, one from the left. Same thing from the back of the house too. Interior, really straightforward. You're going to stand in every single corner of the room and follow the 2-wall rule. And then if you want to do a straight on shot, which is in the middle of the room, let's see if we got one here. Straight on shot. Maybe we're just looking for something that doesn't exist. Straight on shot, we're standing in the absolute middle of the room, okay? Now there's going to be weird components here like this, where there's barns or cool features of the home. You're obviously able to get creative with it to make the agent happy. But the biggest things are just following those key rules. So as I said in the beginning of the video, it's like, hey, if the facing the house is cool, you should face the house and then also face out. So you're showing the utility of both of the spaces. All right, guys, hopefully this was helpful. Take all these tips and tricks, kick butt at your appointments, and keep letting it rip.